Okay, let's make sure it's a very finicky, very finicky, so the power has to stay on it all the time now. Yeah, like
Yeah, no matter what. We went that way, not really. If it's on his because usually see it goes to the top, but he will. Or yeah, I'll tell him. Yeah.
But when they replace it, probably upgrade it, but probably not LED.
yeah.
LED's the way to go.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order, but before we begin, it's Veterans Day. I'd like to take a moment to honor our veterans. In order to truly appreciate our veterans, you need to really understand what it is to be a veteran. And while I was trying to think of what to say that could be quick and impactful, I looked up the official definition of a veteran, and it totally lacks the personal sacrifice that our veterans make for all of us. So I accidentally stumbled across a quote from an unknown author that really says it all, and it's quick. A veteran is someone who, at some point in their life, wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount up to including their life. That's why we honor our veterans and should respect them always. Are there any veterans in the room tonight? Please stand up, be recognized. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Arndt. Here. Ms. Cook. Here. Ms. Eisenhart. Here. Ms. Falcone. Here. Mr. Haney.
Here.
Ms. Hassler.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
And Ms. Palmer. Here.
Note for the record, an executive session was held on October 17th and November 7th regarding labor negotiations with Teamsters Local 773. There are no approval of the minutes, so we'll move right into communications.
The first item under communications, we received an application for a parking space for a person in need of accessibility at 112 North Main Street. As others may have in the past, and all of you may know, an application must be presented to council for approval. Are there any questions from council on this application?
I don't have a question, but I would like it noted for the record that I am a friend of the resident there.
It will be noted for the record in the minutes, Ms. Hassler.
Okay, with that discussion being had, can I ask for a motion to approve the parking permit?
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. You continue on.
The second item is a thank you that we received as a borough, so it includes all of council, all of staff, from TCOC, Topton Community Outreach Club, for all of our help and assistance with the 68th Annual Halloween Parade.
Okay, mayor's report.
I believe the trick or treat night was held. I believe the fire company lit up the parking lot there at the church. I don't believe it was just that church, but there was a couple groups that were in the lit area. And I did walk around town, it seemed like the streets were full with the youth running around, and no one seemed to be getting out of hand, so it seemed like a real good night. And it's appreciative that the fire company goes there and lights up the streets there on Home Avenue for everybody out taking part of it. That's all I ask.
Okay, thank you. Police report.
For Topton for October, a total of 967 patrol miles were logged, the equivalent of 109 patrol hours. 15 hours spent on incidents that we were dispatched to or, were called in. No crash investigations, 10 traffic citations were issued, 12 hours spent on traffic checks, 4 hours for paperwork, 16 total vehicle stops, 8 hours spent on follow-up time or criminal investigation time. Chief has noted under significant activities in October, we handled 3 reportable crimes for Topton Borough, included a theft, a criminal mischief, and a weapons offense. Overall, department-wide, we handled 27 reportable crimes in October, and 12 criminal arrests were made overall. And breakdown for citations: 4 speeding and school zone citations, 2 for obedience to traffic control devices, 1 citation for a parking violation, 1 for a general speeding violation, 1 for a registration violation, and 1 for driving under suspension. Under personnel, we have a full-time officer who is currently out on a medical leave, and a part-time officer who is currently out also for a medical leave due to surgery. The part-time officer is expected to return in about 2 weeks. And under projected activities, he has noted that information has been submitted to a grant writer for us to apply for funding for license plate reader cameras, new tasers, new radios, and patrol room renovations.
Okay, thank you very much.
You said there were 12 criminal arrests? Did I hear you correctly?
That was department-wide, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep, department-wide.
For Topton, what was there? Criminal arrests.
Doesn't have that specified. All he has is 3 reportable crimes that were handled: the theft, the criminal mischief, and the weapons offense. So I don't know if arrests were made on any of those offenses as of yet.
Did he give you a breakdown of the 15 incidents?
No, it doesn't say. I can get that for you if you're interested in that.
I would be, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. Under hearing of visitors, if you're a resident of Topton and you wish to address the council, you may for 4 minutes. Nobody signed in, so when you raise your hand and just state your name and address for the record so we can capture it in the minutes, it'd be greatly appreciated. Anybody wish to speak? Okay. Solicitor's report.
Okay, first item is 546 Celia Avenue. I'm going to be filing a petition in court for review of actions of the guardian of the individual who had formerly lived there because of the condition of the property. I've prepared it and as authorized last month, and the verification has been signed by the manager, so we filed in court this week. So by next month we will have a hearing date, if not a hearing itself, on the petition.
Which manager are you referring to?
To Stacy. Stacy was.
Oh, Borough.
Yes. Was authorized, generally the manager is authorized to sign a verification. She reviewed it to ensure that it was accurate and that all of the liens and violations were captured.
Okay, so that I understand this step in the process because this has been step after step after step. How close are we to something actually happening here?
What would happen next is, once it's filed, we'll get a court date, which should be in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I would think. Generally, Orphans Court moves pretty fast with these things. And perhaps it gets the guardian's attention as well to get moving on getting the weeds trimmed, getting the property into a safe condition and assuming responsibility for it as a guardian is supposed to do.
Because they're still not doing that.
Yep, and that's why we've given notices, we've filed liens, so the next step is that there's no choice but to go to court.
Are they paying any money? They're being billed,
Stacy, do you know the answer to that?
guardian.
We've sent all of the information to the property owners and then to Joan's office.
Right, and we filed liens.
Received nothing.
And the guardian receives notice of those
Yeah.
liens and received a 30-day notice that we were going to file liens and
Nothing.
didn't do anything. I spoke with the agency and the individual at the agency who was supposed to be handling this. They said they'd look into it, didn't get anywhere. So again, court is the last resort, not the first, so.
Thank you.
Do we have a total on how much they owe at this point?
The lien, the amount of the lien is,
Costs do continue to be incurred.
right, the amount of the lien was for 1815.53, but there are also additional amounts for the pest control contract.
Okay, so that would be how much more? Is that under a
We can get
thousand?
that for you.
I was just curious if you knew.
Mhm.
No, don't waste your time, I'm just curious. Thank you.
Are they behind in any water bills or electric or anything like that?
They were turned off.
Utilities
It's
are
condemned.
turned off, yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
the property is
so
considered
they're-
unfit for human habitation because there are no utilities.
So they are living there without that?
No, nobody's living there, or nobody's supposed to be living there.
Oh,
The property owner is, to the best of our knowledge, in an assisted living facility. She is under guardianship by an agency called Elder Care Solutions, who are professional guardians. They are based in Williamsport. They were court ordered to be guardians of the estate, meaning the property of the individual. There had been a prior guardian the Office of Aging had removed.
and I thought a person had still been living there, so that person is gone.
The person should, if there is someone living there, they're doing so illegally. But if they are still there, but we don't believe that that person is still there, but if they are, again, they're doing so illegally.
Would that be something to report to the police if someone's living there?
She has Alzheimer's.
If someone were living there illegally and you had reasonable proof of it, it's not just a rumor, yes, you could report it to the police. Because living there, in violation of a placard is a criminal offense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, negotiations, you saw that, executive sessions had been held, and, Attorney Boland, will further update you. He'll be returning to the office on Wednesday, and he'll further update council. And, Howman House and Luther Meadows request for service consideration. Charlie, if you could.
So the two of the residential facilities there at the Topton home, they're proposing to subdivide them off, and they will no longer be part of the home. And as part of that, they have requested water and sewer will serve, to be directly served. Right now, they are served sewer through the home property. They are served water by the home's water system, not by the borough. By them being subdivided off, they will no longer be part of the agreements that serve the home. And of course, that's one of the reasons they want them to be removed. The challenge for us is that both properties are located in the township, and as far as our best information, are not covered by existing intermunicipal agreements.
Right, so because of that, we will, what we'll do is we'll prepare a simple one page or less agreement, by which the borough and authority will serve these properties. But it will be signed by both the township and the borough and the authority.
Charlie, are there utilities up there?
No, they will have to pay for a new sewer connection and a new water connection. They are aware of that. We have water in the area, there's sewer, it's a little more convoluted to get to. So they're aware that those are significant extensions that they need to put in. They've had those conversations with us, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Could I ask a question in regards to, since that's in Long Swamp Township, are you setting yourself up for other Long Swamp Township people accessing our water system?
Well, they're a property that's already accessing the
Right.
system, and they're already under a bulk agreement. This just takes them out of the bulk agreement. As of now, properties in Long Swamp Township can request connection to the Topton system, water and sewer system, and the determinations are made on a case-by-case basis. There's no obligation to serve outside of the municipality, especially, if there's any concern about capacity or ability to serve. But there are a number of other properties in the township that are, including the Lutheran home, that are on our system.
So these two properties would be metered then, just like every house?
Yes.
Okay.
They would need to comply 100% with the construction standards of the borough for water and sewer. To put those in, they would need to pay 100% of the cost.
So would that be the residents then would pay that, or
No.
since they're getting,
Whoever applies
whoever
for
takes
that,
over?
Right.
whoever applies for it as the owner of the property would be the one.
Right, and they can sort it out and apportion the bills among themselves.
Okay.
And for there to be a valid intermunicipal agreement is actually a requirement of the municipal codes and DEP. We could not get this through. They'll have to go through sewer planning and all that to go through, and those agreements are required for them.
Since it is on the agenda, I would like an authorization to prepare an agreement with Long Swamp Township.
Okay, can I have a motion to prepare one?
I have a couple of questions.
Oh, yeah.
The subdivision, what type of housing would be going in?
It's the buildings, the existing buildings.
Yeah, they're existing buildings, and because they're 100% in the township, that part does not come to us for review.
They're not, nothing's going to be added to
No
it.
new buildings.
There are no new buildings being added, it's just an internal subdivision.
They're not houses, they're housing. They're the two big blocks, like dormitory buildings. Yeah. But because they're not, the properties aren't in the borough, we will not get those subdivisions for review.
So could that help them online?
They'll have to pay tapping fees. So
Yes.
there will be fees paid for the water and sewer.
But how will that load be on our facilities?
Well, the sewer won't be a change. The sewer is already going to us. So that will, the water is a change, but it's not that significant. We have plenty of water. That's the answer.
But both would now be separated from any agreements existing now.
Yes,
Right,
correct.
they would both be outside of the Lutheran home agreement.
Thank you.
Okay, John, for the record, could you state what the motion should say?
Motion authorizing the preparation of an intermunicipal agreement with Long Swamp Township and the Borough Authority, authorizing serving the Heilman House and Lutheran Meadows buildings at Lutheran Home.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Are you, is that it
That's all I have unless council has any questions.
for a manager?
Under my report this evening, I have an announcement about the administrative assistant. She was hired in July and was subject to a probationary period, which she was unable to successfully complete. Therefore, her last day was last Friday. The TCOC parade, the total cost to the borough were less than $2,000. It totaled $1,988.91, coming drastically lower than the budgeted amount in the 2024 budget. The emergency medical provider presentation was made by Albright's Center for Local Government last week. Present were Topton ambulance for one of the ambulance EMT paramedic providers. I attended, Ms. Pummer attended, and Mary Ellen Monahan also attended. In conjunction with that, Topton Ambulance was recently awarded, the municipality of Topton Borough sponsored it by passing a resolution. They were awarded a LSA grant for an ambulance. That was wonderful news, especially after the presentation showing how much of a need EMS has in county works. We were also working on the service line for drinking water to each home. As you know, we have over 900 connections that are metered in the borough, not all of which have been identified. Some of the service lines remain unknown. We reported by mid-October as required by DEP what we knew and what we didn't know, and now we are in the process of, with some help from council, stuffing some letters. Less than 300 properties in the borough will be receiving, or outside the borough, but a customer of our drinking water will be receiving a notice specifically written by DEP, but in which we were allowed to put in that you need to contact us as soon as possible so we can identify your service line, meaning what material is it made out of? Is it copper, is it lead, is it whatever? They will be going out by the end of this week as required by DEP. And we continue to work with G-Works. They've been delayed by certain regulations that we were unaware of and they were unaware of, so hopefully by the end of the year, we will be up and running with all of our new softwares for billing, for payroll, for accounting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Committee reports, environment and conservation. Ms. Cook?
Yes, I wanted to give thanks to Trenda in the office, the borough office, who has been doing a wonderful job. We have MS4 Mondays, which is for municipal separate sewer system. She's been doing weekly little memes with information to try and keep people aware of, like, don't let anything wash into the storm drains, whatever information like that, which is very good. So I really appreciate all the work she's done on that. Source water protection plan, I'm still trying to get free money for two to four message center boards where we could post things like the fire hazard right now, although we got a little rain, but anything about source water. And also I would put in things for MS4, so that's all I have on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Personnel and policy, Ms. Falcone.
I'd like to make a motion to confirm the termination of our part-time administrative employee.
Okay. And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
I'd also like to make a motion for the temporary reassignment of our current water plant operator to work at both water and sewer plants.
Okay.
And Stacy can review the details of that position with the employee as far as when to report.
Okay, do I have a motion? Second?
I'll second.
Scott, this would be for dual certification.
Yes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
For policy, I have nothing to report, and that concludes my reports.
Okay, Streets Committee, Ms. Palmer.
Right now.
It's good. Finance Committee, Ms. Hassler.
I would like, A motion to approve the list of bills and transfers as presented. And the accounting reports.
Could I ask,
No, wait, we need a motion. Can I have a motion?
For the paying of bills? I have a
Yes,
couple
in order for there to be discussion, there needs to be a motion and a second, then discussion.
I'll make a motion.
Can I have a second? Any discussion?
I just had two quick questions. On the bills, so on page 2, at the bottom, like fifth from the bottom, if it's Hatch or Hack Company, Hawk, is that how you pronounce that?
The 26,000
Yeah, what is that?
turbidity meter,
Excuse me.
Meters up.
meters,
What is that?
turbidity meters.
Turbidity meters,
Yes.
okay.
They're a required part of your treatment
Drinking
process on the drinking water side.
And then the second question I have is on page 3, about 2/3 of the way down, there's the bill from General Recreation Inc. Recreation Inc.
check 25,394.
Yes, that's it. For 1119. I'm just curious what that company was.
As you know, it was vandalism in the park that caused the bubble windows
The
to be
domes
broken.
were broken.
Wait, so the bubble windows that.
So you go up in the tower
Oh,
in the
the tower.
recreational.
Yeah, 2 of the domes were broken out.
I've been there, yeah. Okay, so,
We do have them on, we do have the domes to replace. And also the police are investigating, we did have could see them on the
okay, so the
cameras.
vandalism cost $1,119 to replace those items.
And those invoices have been provided to the police.
Yes,
Okay, and do we have any surveillance footage on that event?
yes, it's been turned over to the police
Okay,
with,
wonderful.
with names.
Okay, I would love to have an update on that, when you have it.
That's what I asked, tonight if they had an update. I did talk to the mother of the boy over the weekend. So.
Was you told the dollar amount that's costing the taxpayers?
Yes.
Did she have a response?
Appalled, and not at the amount, but at and that, the child is learning a lesson. Very valuable.
As long as we get reimbursement, I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
so, it's,
Thank you, that's the only questions I have, yes.
Could I ask, check 25,379 ESSA Bank and Trust for $10,000?
that was for the payoff of the truck.
And renting tractor and equipment, check number 25,349 for $3,020.
What is it, running tractor?
Yep.
It's for a couple different things. That was for the tool cat. That was for the general maintenance and things on the tool cat, and it took some filters and the hydraulic filters and fuel water filters and different parts. It was antifreeze and coolant. It was winterized.
Can I ask what a toolcat is?
It's one of the pieces of equipment, like, kind of like a bobcat, something on that line. Say it is, Stacy, I'm thinking that it's, yeah, I was thinking it was the thing that they drove, yes. So that's why it had to be winterized.
Okay, thank you. And then the two checks on the first page, 21,098, 121,112, both $4,200 and some dollars. The EFTPS via internet.
Okay, those are taxes.
Those are the same ones that we went over last month.
It says
What kind of taxes?
federal 941 taxes, so that's federal income tax.
Yes.
That's why that's in the
What's taken
description.
out of the,
Yes.
taken out of the employee's
We
paycheck.
file electronically.
Yeah.
As required by
So
the
when
federal
it's
government.
federal, both are federal.
Yeah, that doesn't change from pay to pay
Okay, thank you.
or from bill list to bill list. I would also like to discuss, and recommend that the office is
Oh,
closed.
hang on.
The motion's still on the table.
Yeah,
Oh,
is the
motion.
discussion over?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried, now you can go on.
Okay, I was jumping ahead there. I would like to recommend that the office is closed from December 26th to December 31st, for preparation to close out the end of year books and get everything ready for the new year. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, they need the time, and now that they're a person short, it's gonna take longer. They will be in the office, it's not that Stacy and Trinda won't be in the office,
So it's closed just to the public.
closed to the
Not-
public.
They will still be.
Want it closed to the
They'll be here,
public.
they'll be here working.
They will be here working, but we need it closed to the public again, because they need to be able to concentrate and get everything ready for the year end.
Will there be a method for voicemails to be returned in case something important comes in?
Definitely.
They will have their voicemail, they will be checking the voicemails, you know, things like that, it's just
What
that,
we usually do is we listen to it as soon as the message is left. And then we,
yes.
So our
So-
Dropbox there, so people could drop things.
exactly.
Yes, and they do check that, they take their payments and, you know, things like that, but I would like it to be closed the 26th to the 31st.
Okay.
So that everything is done.
Can I have a motion to close the office from 26th to the 31st?
Can I make the motion?
Yes,
Then I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
And that's it for me.
That's it? Okay, community relations.
The only thing I have to report is, the, lighting of the Christmas tree. I'm working on that. We do have, Mr. and Mrs. Santa. They will be here. I contacted 3 churches from town. I haven't gotten a response from them. And the music department from Brandywine, they have agreed to come out. Now, who decorates the tree?
You
Kids.
do.
Who
Oh,
does?
I
We put
did,
the lights on.
Oh, okay,
yeah, but
yeah, that's
I
what.
did, I did the decorating last year too.
Okay, you, so somebody does the lights, or do I have to come over and do that?
No, our
or-
staff do the lights and test
Okay.
the electric for that tree.
Okay,
And then like I did the decorating of the tree last
Or you
year.
can choose to give out the ornaments to the children who
Yeah.
attend,
okay, alright,
whatever you
That would
like.
be cool.
yeah, okay. As far as, that was all with the Christmas tree, I did hear one complaint about not having enough, parking for handicap parking from a person in the area of Jack's, which, you know, that's a big business on a morning for breakfast. You're not gonna get away if a handicapped person uses that spot, but he thinks we don't have enough handicap in that area. I just wanted to pass that on.
There's always been a problem there, it's just the
Yeah,
way it's
because
set up.
it's just full down there. There's not enough parking.
Well, they're not allowed to park along the railroad track, because that's unsafe.
And not their property.
Yeah,
Not the-
yeah,
Or our property,
yeah.
never stopped them before, yeah.
So that was all I heard from the community.
Okay, thank you. Properties, Scott.
Alright. The trees have all been marked. I guess he's still checking for property pins just to make sure he got them all. That's all on the logging. The hunting signs, the Pennsylvania Game Commission did supply the signs and our employees have them posted at all 3 gates. My light crew and myself got an additional 14 street lights. 10 of those have been 10 of the 14 have been fixed. And I found more last night, so I gotta send that in. And we still need to decide what we're gonna do with the restroom. We're gonna allow the girls softball to use it. Why? At the last meeting, when Springer got up and said he has $10,000 to give us to do something, you said there's not enough for the kids to do in this town, let's put a skate park in. Now, they have a softball field, but they don't have no place to go to the bathroom.
This was discussed with them, Kathy, a while ago about they would.
And the
bring it in.
softball, but they would be responsible for the
They bring in
restroom
porta
themselves.
They,
No, they would use our restroom, but they would be responsible.
they're gonna stock it.
They'll
they're
stock
gonna
it,
take care
they'll
of it.
clean it, they'll do everything.
I thought we did have that discussion.
We
We
did,
did,
but
We
we tabled it.
tabled it.
Well, do we wanna untable it
We
and have
have to untable it.
I mean, it's coming to the end of the year, we gotta, I don't know when they sign the agreement with us,
In January.
so.
Yeah, so we need to make a decision. As long as they're willing to take care of it themselves, it's on them then. They don't lock it.
Okay, can I have
There's been an ongoing problem with them. There's kids involved, and the key doesn't get returned, and it doesn't get locked.
But
and
if
then
they
people
don't
get
lock it,
inside.
they are responsible. If anything gets
Hang on.
broken, they're responsible.
do we wanna untable this and have this, have the discussion?
Yeah, they don't need, there's no motions needed.
No motions needed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
on
untabled.
Untabled.
It's been untabled anyway, and it's on the agenda for discussion, so
Okay.
there's no need for any motion.
I mean,
In the past.
the boys have it. Why do we wanna send,
What boys have it?
Baseball,
the Little League field has it?
they have a bathroom that they
I didn't know they had.
use for baseball only. People in the park cannot use their bathroom if it's, because they lock it. It's for their baseball practices and games.
Where's that located?
And
Underneath this,
Under the building, it's,
where the refreshment stand is, it's on the opposite side.
and
they
so,
stock it, they clean it.
yeah, and that's the same, it's all, they would just use one restroom.
One.
They would use one restroom.
They would use one and the other one would be for vendors of the pavilion.
In the past, we had a council member on, I believe, at least 3 occasions at great risk to their health. Clean human waste that was smeared all over the walls, sink, the toilet, the floors, the waste basket, inside and out, under the liner, smeared everywhere. I, on council, didn't want that person doing that, but that person felt like this is so disgusting and went ahead and did it. This is what happened before, each time when we let softball have the key.
I honestly don't believe it was softball that did it.
No, but they didn't lock it, and then the little
It
hoodlums
wasn't
came
always
through.
that it
The
was,
hoodlums came through.
it was somebody breaking into the restrooms.
And the last time it was when you decided to leave it open again, that's when it happened the last time.
That was actually somebody broke into it.
It wasn't
and did it.
during softball.
That was, we
So
didn't
the-
decide to leave it open.
Carol,
I
the
sat there.
the understanding is that they'll be responsible for it. They'll
They
clean
would be
it, they'll
responsible
stock
totally.
it, they'll manage it.
They will be responsible.
We need to have the bathrooms available for people, that's why we have.
Well, they were spoken to about getting a porta potty, and told before if they were left unlocked again accidentally, it was gonna have to be a porta potty, and that, still they left it accidentally.
But if they're responsible, it's their headache.
And no council member will be going in to clean anything.
No, not in that
Not
restroom. Not- I will be cleaning the other restroom for the pavilion rental. I will not be the one cleaning the restroom for the baseball, the softball, I mean. I will not be cleaning the restroom, I will not do anything with that. I'm not responsible for that side.
Are they aware of the problems that have happened in the past?
Very aware of it, yes. Yes, very aware. Yeah, I'm the one that went and got the key from them.
Okay, and there will be an agreement.
Yes.
of some sort written up, so.
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna, I promise I will not go in and clean it. That is gonna be on them.
Okay, can I have a motion to make the restroom available to softball? Second?
Second.
I'd like to have in the agreement that if something like that occurs again, it's not cleaned in a timely fashion, that the borough has the right to terminate the agreement.
The maintenance of the restroom will be in agreement, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, who's gonna prepare the agreement? Will they be preparing it and I review it, or am I gonna be preparing it for their review?
We have existing agreements that we can revise. If
Okay.
you'd like for me to do the revisions and then submit them to you for.
That would be fine,
editing.
yeah, that would be fine, yeah, if there's already a field use agreement with restroom use, that would work fine.
You probably designed
I
the
probably,
originals.
I probably prepared it years ago.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. One more thing. There's we chased that guy with his oversized truck on Home Avenue. There's one on Irvine Drive.
Yeah.
At 37. Around 37. I don't know if that's exactly where he lives, but
I
that's where
actually
the
have
truck's at.
pictures of the truck and pictures of the license plate.
Should we just call the company or?
But it
Call
could-
the cops.
The police enforce our ordinances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have an ordinance.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have a question. I'm on Irvine and I think I know the truck you're talking about, the utility truck.
Mm-hmm.
That's a company vehicle. I'm not understanding what the issue is with that.
Well, the one on Home Avenue was a company truck too.
Yeah.
They're
There's-
too
Okay,
large
this-
for the streets.
There's a parking.
Oh, okay, that's what I wasn't understanding. I'm like, I don't
Oh, yeah,
understand what's
it's-
wrong with, cause there has been times where he has pulled it into the driveway. I don't
The
know.
real big truck that
Yeah,
sits there, that, if they're too large for the streets, so two cars can't pass on the street then.
Okay. I was just wondering, cause there's like no, it's not loud or anything. It's not a
If he parks
disruption
in
in
the
that
driveway,
way.
the problem goes away.
Yeah, if he parks in the driveway, then it's no issue.
I've
but-
seen him park in the driveway and I've seen him park it on the street. I think they have two vehicles, so if the one is in there, he can't, but if the other one isn't, I don't know, but I've seen him park in the driveway.
Could we just mail him a copy of the ordinance? Would that be?
I mean, you can start
It
out,
sounds
you
like
can
that might
start
be an
out with,
easy way.
you can start out with a courtesy notice, but if it's not resolved, then you refer it over to enforcement.
Could there also be a second courtesy notice put out on Smith Street?
Yes. There's a boat that's been parked there all summer long.
Okay.
Smith Street.
There was one
All
on,
the way
was it,
down.
yeah, all the way out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know the,
Well, I'm pretty sure it's 419.
okay, thank you.
It's been there for months.
You talking about boat?
The boat?
Yeah.
If you have to find one, you gotta find them all.
That shouldn't be a problem. That's a lot better than dealing out fines right away.
Because it's just, they just don't know.
Yeah, no, that's, I think that's the right thing to do to give the person a chance.
Okay, and
I'm done.
you're done? What about Brian Smith?
You want me to hold again?
Yeah, we can do this way. So, good evening. So, last month we had a really good turnout for a presentation of the draft plan. There were about 20 or so folks here to review the plan. So I didn't know if council wanted me to go through the plan again tonight, or if you wanted to just open it up to discussion. I know there was some email
I would
correspondence.
actually like to have some discussion on it. In particular, you can see the bathrooms are an issue. And that list of items that I emailed out for additional consideration for the master plan, in particular, the utilities and the restrooms and the future lighting of the softball,
Yes.
to make sure that we have those.
Yes, so the
those key
lighting for the
utilities.
softball is included.
Okay.
We've had that in the plan. We also talked about supplemental lighting along the pathway going from Weiss up to home. so that way there's some supplemental lighting for that pathway since it is used, especially towards the evening or after a game. The other thing we did look at was the other half of this building, which was previously part of the pool, sort of broken up into the old concession building, and then the men's and women's restrooms, and then some administrative area, currently partially used for storage. We had originally looked at it and kind of thought maybe, the concession stand piece should be removed, but based on Dan's email, maybe there should be consideration to renovate that and actually make it a usable facility so that renters, if they're renting out a pavilion, they could use that as a concession as well, or a kitchen area. So I didn't know if council had any thoughts on that. And then the other thought was to, renovate one of these restrooms, become another restroom facility for this lower end of the park. And that would be utilized by the new skate park, which would be essentially where the pool is going. The pickleball courts, which would be adjacent to the skate park, and then also the amphitheater, which would be up towards the front.
Stacy, the bathrooms in here were part of the ADA improvements to Borough Hall. Was that part of that plan, or was that just the bathrooms inside that you use?
Inside that we use, and then if the
That was all
ones,
of these.
yeah, they actually did look at the locker rooms as well, the male and female locker rooms to the pool, because at that time the pool was still open when we had that assessment before.
So it's basically listed in two places, which is fine. We have it on here and we have it.
And I
It's
think-
already on our capital improvement.
I think what we could do, and I think that's what Brian is suggesting, is that one of the locker rooms, bathroom area will be accessible
From the outside.
from the outside by the public.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
these are only accessible when our, building is open, because it's mandated that we have public restrooms, because we are a public building.
Is the piping bad for all these bathrooms? Because I know that we've got.
Yeah,
the issue.
they
So
back up and overflow.
Even the
So
ones
it's,
that are,
staff have indicated that something with the pitch of the piping, that was installed originally, it just can't take
so it's
it.
for the bathrooms and for the locker rooms?
All of them,
Everything's
yes,
got problems,
yes.
okay.
And they should be, just without knowing anything, if they were pitched to drain before, they should be able to be easily reinstalled across where the pool is now and have a better pitch, because it'll be a much shorter run to the sewer. So just by eliminating the pool, the route for the sewer lines can be much shorter, less convoluted. It doesn't need to go around the pool, should gain a lot of pitch and cure that problem for you. The sewer line parallels the creek.
Does council agree that we should look at some of the utilities as part of the master plan? And then I gotta ask a question. What about that pump house? Why is that staying?
So,
And don't tell me about the well either.
well, so just so you're aware, abandoning a public water supply well, or former one, will be expensive. It will not be very cheap abandonment. You're in the $20,000+ starting point on abandoning that well.
You can't put like a.
No, it has to be closed per state regulation, because the way it sits there. So sitting there not being used, no issue. The second we take it out.
Building around it though.
So the building itself could be, modified exterior so it's more attractive, maybe it fits in better with the park setting. It is useful as storage, so it does have a secondary purpose to it. Now with the addition with the skate park, and then even, some of the other activities, we're doing a holiday tree out front now, that might be a location to store close holiday decorations. I think there could be some function there, with fairly limited, cost to just kind of decorate.
It's gonna look like a pimple on the nose of that beautiful park, if we don't do something with it.
Yeah, I agree, it needs to be dressed up. And then we also are looking at adding landscaping around it, so that will help too. But right now, it's in the middle of a field of grass. If we add some trees and shrubs to it as well around it, will help to kind of give a little bit more seclusion.
Okay, I'll stop beating that horse then.
Would there be an area for the pickleball other than where you placed it now? my understanding is the size, if we're doing a skateboard park.
Yep.
Finally, after all these years. The size that's there is really kind of sad on the small side, so I didn't know if we could.
So the skate park area that we have allocated is actually fairly typical for a skate park. So I don't feel like we're really compromising on the size of that area. As far as the pickleball court goes, that's probably the best location in the park to locate that, just because of its proximity to the playground, the parking, and then just access, and then obviously future restrooms here as well. Any other location really wouldn't work, and honestly, we're kind of limited because we have all the other ball fields going or existing.
And it's flat.
And it's flat.
Where we were doing the native meadow plants.
Yeah, up in here, we did look at that, and unfortunately, there's not enough room for it there. Without taking away parking, and parking is critical to the park.
Can I ask a question? Just wondering why you would put an additional bathroom if the bathrooms aren't gonna be unlocked ever, so what would be the point?
So again, it could be,
Accessible bathroom.
so again, like maybe the arrangement that's going on with softball, there could be done something similar with the skate park group, or, you know, with the pavilions, or even the pickleball courts. Typically, they're well organized, and could do the same kind of arrangement. And you have a good structure here, kind of hate to not utilize part of that. I think from a cost savings wise, it's a smart thing to do.
I mean, if you're using the pavilion, other bathrooms are right there.
The
It's not
existing
that
pavilion,
far.
correct. We're actually looking to add a pavilion down at this end though as well.
I hate to throw a monkey wrench in this, but if there's gonna be 2 pickleball courts at the high school, do we need a third one?
Good question.
At the middle school, I believe, middle school.
Across the street.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
The high school, the high school.
Well, yeah.
Across the street.
So it's my understanding those will be programmed by the district during the day, so they would only be available for public use towards the end of the day or after hours. Obviously, these would be open to folks all day. A lot of times, these are actively used during the day, especially by seniors, so.
Okay, any other questions or discussion?
Have we done any kind of survey of the residents, like maybe Survey Monkey or anything, to see how many people would be playing pickleball during the day?
No, we did the survey a few years ago, and we've had a series of public meetings with this department on plan.
We're low attendance, sadly.
Yeah, and it's come
You
up.
can only put a question out there and invite.
That's why I was wondering about the survey, you just mentioned it to me before, they would get pretty good calls on things like that.
It's hit or miss.
Yeah, we've had good response at the meetings over pickleball.
I was gonna say, I was in Boyertown, they had 3 pickleball courts, and they were being used, and there was a line waiting to use them, so. And they put the ones on the other side of Fleetwood, they're always packed every time you go by. The skate
Crossroads is-
park, I've never seen
Crossroads is
anybody
same
skate.
part. I can't get in Crossroads.
Could sound like it's a skateboard.
Okay, Scott, is that it then? Yeah, I'm all done? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Utilities, me. There's 0 meter switches. Bills are due, as a reminder, November 25th, and payment plans are available. For anyone who would need one, just see the office. That's all I got for my report. Oh,
That was a miscommunication on our part, I'll cover that in my report.
okay, engineering.
Engineers report, pretty much status quo, we're kinda done for now with the MS4 going through. Our plan currently is having 3 projects out to bid to award in December. The DCNR Oak Alley project, for award at your December 9th meeting. And then the chlorine contact basin and Washington Street pumping station, rebid would be at your 2nd meeting in December. I combined those so that we cut the advertising price in half. cause it's $1,000 in advertisement, so that's why I shifted that date a little bit on the chlorine basin on you. So those would be, we're looking at that timing for that. And what that means, the last meeting we talked about potentially doing an LSA for the pump station. Unfortunately, grants do not allow you to use the money for projects that you've already put out for bid and awarded. So the only way to use it for the actual pump station is to delay the pump station bid until sometime next summer. And that would be dependent on when they awarded it, and then if they don't award to you, we're still in the same boat. So after some conversations, I set this up. If you want me to change it, let me know. For the LSA, based on the information we had, there's two options. One, to complete East Barkley, because remember that project was 50% funded, or the part of cutting the cost on the pump station was we were planning on replacing the force main. There's not a known issue with the force main, but it's an old line. That's why we were gonna replace it. So those would be the two. We had selected East Barkley for water because there were water breaks happening on that line that were causing us to need to dig up the road. So based on those complaints and I guess my understanding of what was going on, we would recommend that a grant application be for the other half of East Barkley. That also pushes through that you've got the existing grant as a match, and you're part of that existing grant as a match. So we would do that without a match and not be worried about that causing our score to go down. I'm not anticipating the next round of LSA grants being as generous as this current round was, considering when they announced the current round right before the election. But they have a good pool of money to go out, and it should be a good project for them. With no objections, that's what we'll put together for you.
Charlie, what about Keller Street? Do you have any kind of idea what that's gonna cost us?
That was one of the ones we considered. It's on par. It's actually was more expensive than East Barkley. East Barkley was the cheap. So we were looking at rolling through projects one at a time, getting one funded and going to the next one. We haven't gotten East Barkley funded yet, so that's why I didn't look to the next one. Usually, they're the sweet spot looking for LSA is the under $200,000 project.
And what are we thinking Keller Street's gonna cost us?
I think it was in the 500.
I think it was even more,
Yeah.
over 600.
Yeah, somewhere. It depends on whether we included, how much paving we
Right.
included. And that's been our challenge with the linear projects everywhere, is they're not awarding paving costs for anything other than just the trench resurfacing. We're not able to do, I've tried in a lot of places to do mill and overlay of one traffic lane, because that's what PennDOT would require. It's not going through, it's not even going through on PennDOT roads. We're having to cover that with, local money in almost every case. It's not being awarded through utility grants.
What's the urgency with Keller Street?
They were all identified, there were 3 identified, but for all the same reason. Those were where we were having the most frequent water breaks. And therefore the repairs, needing the roads dug up and carried in. If they put out the small water and sewer again, or the H2OPA, both of those are worthy to go after. Unfortunately, the H2OPA, which is bigger than 500,000, the match is higher.
About how much do you recall the match on that?
It's a third, so 15% small water and sewer, 30%, a third on the H2OPA. So basically, you get 2 to 1. And they go up above $1 million.
Okay, so you got Ron?
Yep.
All right.
Did
Yes.
you say the pipe from Washington Street to High Street would have to be replaced?
No, we had scheduled it for replacement just because it's as old as the pump station. No known issues with it, we just didn't tying into it was difficult for the temps, but, we'll have the ability to do that with the new valves at box at the pump station. That's why it was in the project.
Okay, old business? Stacy, you have anything on Hometown Heroes that's done now?
We have 16 banners in our last push for a final banner order. We are meeting with the school to now finalize any matters with handing over, if they're acceptable to that, the administration of the entire program. The streets are running low for spots to place them, so it's more of maintaining whose banner's been up and then replacing it or things like that. So we have a meeting on Friday with the school district. And otherwise, we'll try to put the order in either by the end of this week or early next week, because it takes like about 4 weeks, sometimes if they're busy, a little longer, 6 weeks. So as soon as they come in, we'll get them installed, weather permitting.
Okay.
Before you put the order in, did you already check with everybody who's reaching the point where they were like the first ones put up and there will be need to come down soon?
So
To see
we
if they
haven't,
want to replace.
so this is the school district's project, and that was our understanding, and tracking those 2 years for banners was not on our list of the things that we were supposed to be doing. So I will ask that on Friday when that will be, you know,
I'm just
done.
wondering if that should be incorporated
16
with
is a
it.
good number, it's over 10, and if they do have some that would like to be replaced, either because of wear and tear, or they'll remain up, that's up to the school if they wanna do it that way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Topton Community Ambulance.
I have provided Borough Manager with the call amounts for the municipalities, and thank you for your help with the grant. After all this time, yay.
And now, just so the public knows, it does take quite some time to now order an ambulance and get it out to service. And it's quite a long, it's years.
Yeah, it should be a.
So as soon as we get the agreement, we're going to, you know, sign it as, as quickly as we can.
What does the call amount mean?
The call list per municipalities for the month.
I didn't make copies.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that, Monica.
The call breakdown per municipality.
Yeah, we just got it.
Yeah, you just got it. If you want me to start emailing that to everybody, I can. Then you have it, if you're curious.
Thank you.
Okay, Preservation Board. Carol, do you have anything on that?
We had no meeting. However, the monies, Larry did do a write-up, which you all should have a copy of. Our bank balance is $3,797.85. And that would be it for Preservation Board.
Thank you. Brandywine Community Library.
Hi, everybody. We had a successful vendor fair over the weekend. I don't have figures yet, but there were quite a few people there. Deb and I have been traveling around in the Passport program. I would encourage you all to do that as well, where you visit 19 libraries in the county, check them all out. We've checked them all out. It has given us a huge appreciation for our library here, compared to the other libraries. I understand there was a question about funding and the way that funding works for that. So I am prepared to give you a little summary of that if you would like to.
If you can, please, yes.
Understand that, okay. So, part of what you need to understand is that it juggles. So if one thing changes, everything else changes. okay? So I can give you the idea and you can understand it, and you may have gotten the funding formula in a letter at the end of October. But let me explain it so that everyone has an opportunity to hear that. They have 3 levels of support to libraries that come from the county. The first level is 1-to-1, and that is when the municipalities that are served by that library only dedicate a lower amount, 1-for-1 per capita. The second level is called adequate municipal support, and that is where the municipalities that are served by that library together contribute what comes down to $2.5 or more. And those libraries receive a portion of a bonus amount that the libraries at the lower funding levels from their municipalities do not get. There is also a third level where if all the municipalities together average $5 or more per capita, then there's even more money that is split up. So when you drafted to lower the amount that you were going to contribute to the library, that triggered a change in the balance that dropped the library budget below that 2.5. Okay, does that make sense?
Is it 2.5 per municipality
It's per-
within this?
it's-
Because everybody else is lower than, like, there is one that's lower than
Correct.
2.5.
So
do they all have to?
it's taken all together, so yes.
So we wouldn't have triggered anything because we were always held captive to that $1.40 per capita.
You were providing more funding
Right, but it was still a
and
one-to-one match.
compensated for.
But it was still a one-to-one match because we didn't hit the threshold, the 2.5 per municipality. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't, let's run it by again.
So, the 2.5 per capita, we have 4 municipalities.
Correct.
Topton. Right.
Has,
So.
last year was 7.25 per capita.
Right, but what I'm saying is we have 4 municipalities and one of them is doing
1.38.
So all of
Is
them have to be
Rockland.
at 2.5 in order to kick us up to that next level.
I think she's
No.
saying the aggregate has to.
No, it's the
come out
aggregate.
total.
Okay.
So all the population versus all the funding generates
Right.
that number.
So Topton was at 7.25, Rockland was at 138, Long Swamp was at 247, and District was at 251. Rockland did boost in 2024, but I don't know the per capita change on that, I just know the dollar amount.
But it's still saying a one-to-one match for 2024, not what you're saying.
No, we made the 2.5.
Okay.
That's why there would be a loss if you drop your contribution, there would be a loss, and it's a year it's also a year in advance.
Okay.
So it wouldn't happen next year, we wouldn't lose it next year, we would lose it the following year, because it's based on 2 years back from the municipality.
So theoretically, if each of the 4 municipalities contributes $2.5 per capita.
Or more, yeah.
Our aggregate for those 4 municipalities will meet the criteria for that Berks County funding, correct?
That is my understanding. You have to understand that I'm not a finance person,
That's
I am a
fine.
pastor. So I'm trying to explain a very complicated formula, and what makes it worse is that none of the municipalities have told us what they expect to support the library with next year, so, we can't even tell you. Stacy said, well, what do we have to get? My treasurer said, if you guys donated $9,150, then that would bring everything back into the
But
balance.
what if everybody raised their contribution?
And all of those townships were asked to do that.
Were they asked on Facebook?
And, all of the, I don't know, I represent Topton. I don't represent District or Rockland or,
The library's in Long Swamp too.
the other one.
The post was put on, which I thought was unfortunate, on Facebook, on the library's page, encouraging people to contact us. And the emails I got, there was one only from Topton, all the others were from people who do not pay our taxes.
Right.
And I didn't see anything that asking, write to the Rockland supervisors or write to the district supervisors.
We are working on that. As the board, we are working on those other districts.
Right. So, and, you know, personally, I had people come up to me at the vendor fair and ask about it, and my response is, what township are you in? And no, don't write Topton, talk to your township about increasing their amount. You know, that is what we can do, and we'll bring that back to the board, Carol, that.
Thank you. I hope to see that in the future,
That
in the near
comment.
future. People are working on their budgets right now, now's the time to hit them.
Oh, absolutely.
I saw something on the library page, it says the figures will be added together and divided by the number of contributing service area municipalities to arrive at the average. So I guess I'm wondering why every single one of these 4 municipalities are not contributing the same amount then? Like, shouldn't
It's not the same dollar amount, it would be the same per capita amount. They should.
Same per capita amount.
They're not, that's.
And they're not.
So why are they not?
That is true.
I mean, okay, all right. So
So
I feel like our tax dollars have been subsidizing, Long Swamp residents.
Your tax dollars have been subsidizing an amazing library.
Absolutely,
And so
I agree
there's a
with you.
point at which I believe, and, you know, I'm a pastor, so I had to deal with, you know, do we have enough money, lowering the water, raising the bridge, all those kinds of things. And you do need to think about, let's set aside whatever anybody else gives and say, what is it worth to Topton to have the kind of quality library we have in this community, especially compared to other ones, that is available, that goes from 0 age to the elderly. It has programming for every age, and it is continuous and ongoing. What is it worth to do that?
So we see the worth, we agree there is a great value to our library. It's not that we don't want to contribute. And I personally donate a pretty sizable, for me, donation every year to the library personally, because I really believe in it. I guess, you know, it's not really that we don't believe that our library is wonderful. It's that we have budgetary constraints that, and some unknown calculations we're doing right now that have caused us to have to look at our budget differently, so.
Everybody's budget is like that. Everybody's budget at home is like that. I have to make decisions. Where am I gonna put what money I have? And, you know, I would like to justify putting money into the library because it does have so much community benefit. And we have lost some things around here. We're talking about a wonderful park, but who knows when that's gonna happen. We've lost a pool, which was also a wonderful thing. And so, you know, it's just, when something else that is that wonderful becomes endangered for any reason, you know, I think it's important. For me, it's important.
Well, continue contacting the other municipalities, and keep in mind that our current budget is a worst-case scenario for us. If, hopefully, the Teamsters come back and accept our offer, and we can take advantage of some sizable savings with health insurance, and some of these cuts may be restored, but we have to plan on the worst. And hopefully they come back in a timely fashion, because by November 30th, we have to switch healthcare, or we can't. So.
And that's a whole nother, I mean,
Well, that's-
all of those negotiations and the paperwork that we received in our water bill seem to be not accurate.
It was
so-
based on the worst case scenario.
So, there were a lot of questions I had in my mind about that, and, you know, I have to kind of like now step out of my library role.
This is
And
not the
step into
library's
my
fault.
consumer taxpayer role and say that I have deep concerns about whether that pie chart was accurate, and whether the negotiations that are going on are.
That pie chart is representative of the budget that's published.
It is, and my understanding is that the figures may not have been accurate in it. So, and I'm not a finance person, but I would like for that to be looked at and discussed, and there was a proposal by the union, I understand,
again,
was
we
handed out,
do
was
not have a
distributed, that was
contract.
different.
We have to plan on the worst case scenario, i.e. they don't get it to us in
Sure.
time.
Sure.
If they sign
Mm-hmm.
in time for us to switch healthcare by the 30th, then yes, it's not representative. That pie chart is representative of if they miss the deadline,
Mm-hmm. And the salary amounts are accurate,
yes.
and the salary amounts do not include vacations?
The pie chart included everything. Total cost.
To the taxpayer.
Okay. And vacations are not added in as a double?
The vacations were included.
Well, they're paid.
So vacation,
They're paid.
vacations
They're
paid,
They're
was
paid.
that, were the
That's
amounts
included in their wage.
in their wage, and then an additional amount was not added, the same amount?
No, it's, we base their
Vacation.
cost on the number of hours they work in the year.
Mhm.
Some of those may be vacation, everybody's got a different number of vacation days
Right.
depending on their time they've worked here.
So it's
Well,
based on
it's
the
based
total
on
hours in a
our
year?
yearly budgetary cost for each employee. The total is what the numbers represent, including benefits. It's not just wages, it's everything.
Yeah, their vacation
That's
isn't
all of
added
our
over and
overhead
above
to
that.
employ a
It's
person.
based on, let's say you work 100 hours a week, it's based on.
So did that pie chart include, that also included overtime?
Yes.
Cause when I looked at it, a typical 40-hour-a-week job for a year, you work 2,080 hours.
That's
That does not include overtime.
That's regular pay. We have men that have to work the weekends, and that was included. So there's 26 days for each of our operators that are time and a half and double time for the weekends.
Okay, I am a numbers person, she'll tell you that, I think in numbers all the time. I just couldn't make them all, I couldn't make it match, so maybe I have to
Yeah,
come in
a
and
better
have somebody
explanation
explain.
probably could have been given with the pie chart, but the pie chart is representative of our draft budget, which is representative of them not reaching a deal. If they reach a deal, our budget changes.
And the counter proposals, did they offer you or not?
What counter?
You have not received the counter
Not yet,
proposal?
no.
So when I sat in the high school auditorium, they said they had just emailed you a counter proposal.
That was
2 hours
before
before the
we
meeting.
we didn't get nothing from our last offer.
We
Yeah.
had an
Haven't heard
offer
from them.
back to them, and we're waiting to hear back.
So their counter proposal that was given at that meeting?
That's not the way they're supposed to give us a proposal. They sent an email out moments before the meeting, and there has to be time for us to look at every detail and calculate numbers. So what they did at that meeting was really grandstand for the public, like they were doing something for us, that they gave us a haphazard proposal that we did not have to, we have to consult with our representative, we have to look at all the numbers, we have to calculate everything out. Because if one number changes, then that changes where we were. We've got to recalculate everything to see how that affects everything else. So that, their proposal was not given really in a very professional manner.
I understand that. It was not a good proposal, though, is what you're saying.
I'm saying that when they gave that to us, it was not the proposal they should have given us. It was given in piecemeal. We had to look at every detail and calculate it out, which we did do. And
That's what I'm asking. Was it looked at? I mean, that was in July.
Oh, it was looked at.
We heard nothing since then.
Yes. Well, we had a change in personnel here, and then we had to recalculate our budget. There were some numbers we didn't have. So as the year went on, we started working on our budget. We've given what we feel is a very, very good offer to them.
After we had a full council, we sat down over more than half a dozen executive sessions, and we developed a budget-based offer. The offer we gave the union is in the draft budget, and that pie chart is representative of that worst-case scenario. If they don't take it, we have to continue on as is. That's what our budget's based on, and it has to be. It's the only responsible thing to do. So, hopefully, we have a deal before the 30th, and we can take advantage of some huge savings and redo our budget.
And if you don't?
Then the draft budget stands and the cuts in it.
What if they strike again? Are we gonna go back to paying contractors again? Because that cost us a lot of money.
I think we're maybe talking too much.
Yeah, I think so. Labor
Okay.
negotiations
Yeah.
are generally discussed in executive session. I mean, I haven't cut off discussion because I believe in transparency, but this is going kind of far afield at this point.
Can I address something? Back when they were striking, I had drawn up a petition to have open negotiations because of the he said, she said on both parts. To be open to the public so that we may sit in.
Yeah, that was decided against with our mediator, what do you call him?
With the mediator, yes,
Yeah.
with the mediator, yes.
Yeah.
May I ask why? Because I think, in my opinion, I don't know about anybody else, but in my opinion, and you
Because
see it on
the
Facebook,
mediator deemed it most appropriate.
but we're getting information from you guys, we're getting information from the Teamsters, we're getting information on Facebook. My argument with that whole thing was allow us as the public to sit in the negotiations and hear things for ourselves.
And that was decided against.
By the mediator.
I'm sorry?
By the
By a
mediator.
neutral mediator.
Yeah, not by you.
Not by us.
Not by
us,
them,
right,
right.
but it's both the mediator who was agreed upon by the union and by the borough. And negotiations are generally not conducted in public space.
Can I ask a library question?
I know the union was okay with it, and they were okay with the open negotiations, and I haven't heard anything back from, that it was denied by you guys, or not you guys, but the mediator.
So that's your answer.
Okay, thank you.
Mediator.
Do you have anybody who can
And
write?
don't believe anything on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm not, but that's the reason why I was asking that. So that we could get the direct information, so to speak, from the horse's mouth.
Is there anybody that you know of that can look at grants?
Well, we do have grants. We
Okay.
do get grants. They are waiting for grants,
Okay.
but that doesn't affect the.
I don't wanna cut
No,
you
for
guys
the-
off.
for the library.
I have one
Yeah.
question
Oh,
for
okay.
Stacy. Stacy, could you just give me, an update on the outstanding agendas? Have we approved all of, I mean?
You mean
minutes?
The minutes.
May 13th, August 12th, September 9th, October 14th and 28th. Those are the minutes that are in draft form right here.
Okay, so there's 4? I'm sorry, you just.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So there's 5 outstanding. Do we have a date?
I hope to get all of the drafts finalized by the end of this week. That's my goal.
Okay,
That's my.
any other discussion by council? Motion for adjournment?
I'll make the motion.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.